Good morning, Facebook. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. It is Sunday morning, about 8:30. Just got done with my morning run, and it is beautiful out, not a cloud in the sky. It is amazing. Hopefully, we'll have another amazing day like yesterday. Lots of people were out hiking on the trails, getting some sunshine, doing outdoor activities, taking advantage of an amazing November weekend in November. So hope you had a great weekend or having a great weekend. Let's see. It is Sunday, so that means we're doing our mussels tonight. Mussels and shrimp curry, $9.99 to go with rice and broccoli. That is tonight, all 3 o'clock on. It's a to-go special. We're open for the garden. The garden is open for dining, 3 o'clock on today. We have a new tent coming this next week, which will withstand snow, taller pitch. We can put heaters inside and put sides on it. So we will be having as much outdoor dining this winter as possible. On warmer days, there'll be heaters down. Last week, we got all these tabletop heaters, which are really cool. They mount onto the table. There's a propane tank underneath. They mount on, and they nicely blanket this table with heat. Really, really nice. Good morning, everybody tuning in. Appreciate it. I want to run by a scenario past everybody. Just drop a comment and let me know what you think about a situation that we're facing right now. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Beth. Alan, good morning. Allison, Trisha, Shauna, good morning, everybody. Just drop a comment. Hashtag live if you're watching live. If it's on the replay, hashtag replay. It is Sunday morning. I did get done with my run, 6 miles, with some friends. Really, really great. Looks like it's going to be a fabulous Sunday here in November. Jamie and I went on a hike yesterday on the Cox Road Trail, the red loop up there in Cragsmore. The trail was packed yesterday. Cars were parked everywhere. Really a cool 3-mile loop if you want something to, a nice hike to do, 3-mile loop on Cox Road. So, all right, situation. Should we give this person a second chance? So years and years ago, 15 years ago, we were getting ready to do business with a new wine company, new company for us. We buy from tons of wine companies. Most restaurants buy from 2. They buy from Southern Empire, which are the big boys, which carry a lot of stuff. So in New York, and a lot of states are like this, but in New York, especially, like if you're buying Jack Daniels or Mondavi wines or whatever, it comes from one distributor and that's it, and that distributor holds the key to that product. No other distributor can carry that product unless there's an agreement with the distributor with dual distribution, and that happens sometimes. So that doesn't happen often. So if we want like a specific wine, we have to go to a specific vendor, specific distributor to get that wine. So years and years ago, 15 years ago, we were getting ready to do business with a company. Not going to say their name. We're getting ready to do business with the company. It was January, February. And there were some wines that I wanted in the portfolio. But it was January and February. We couldn't afford anything in January, February because you cut back and only buy things you need in the wintertime because it's stupid just to stock things that you don't need because you need that money to pay bills, not sit in inventory. And I think I've said this before in our lives. At one point, we were amassing almost $50,000 in liquor inventory, and that can pay a lot of bills. It can pay a lot of staff instead of sitting in a storeroom. So to do the smart business thing, we were like, well, now's not the right time for us to buy. It's the middle of the winter time. So the sales rep came in twice, showed us some things. I took notes. I was like, okay, these are going to be things for the future. So I called that sales rep a month after in like March or something because we were getting ready to get busy and hopefully getting ready to do business. So I called the sales rep in March, and the sales rep says to me, Marcus, I can't come to you. I go, what do you mean you can't come to me? He goes, I can't come to you. It's not worth it for me to make the drive to you. I figured it out. And this person lived a half an hour from the restaurant, and they covered several counties. So they were on the road covering 4 or 5 counties and driving 100 miles a day to begin with, 200, 150 miles a day to cover their accounts. He goes, it doesn't make sense for me to come to you because I'm not making any money on your account. So I can't come to you. I was like, whoa, like you're getting ready to do the sales process and you're putting a value on the beginning of a relationship. So he knew I was upset, and he knew he did the wrong thing because he told somebody years after, just recently, he told somebody, that I know Marcus doesn't like me and, and this and that because of something I said to him years ago. And I was like, so I said to him, to this other person, this other restaurant owner, I said, yeah, it was kind of crappy with how he handled it, And I explained the situation, and he goes, yeah, that is kind of like off-putting. Like, you're starting a relationship with somebody, you're starting to do business with somebody. So might take 2 or 3 times of going there and doing something and building a relationship, building a rapport, and figuring out what the restaurant needs, right? So fast forward now, 15 years later, I there's a specific wine that I want from Italy. It's a very specific wine that I want from the Barolo region, and I look up who distributes this wine. So I find the distributor, the person who's at the winery in Italy. It's like, Marcus, here's the contact of our importer in New York City. So I talked to the importer. It was like, I'm going to give you the name of the sales manager for the company you can buy this wine from. I said, perfect. So he sends a mutual message, and I respond and say, yes, have the salesperson call me. Let's start doing business. Like, I'm ready to start doing business. I want this wine. I need this wine. It's part of our trips to Italy. It's part of on our route in Piedmont. So it's really crucial that we have this wine. So the sales rep sends a message, and I look at the name. I'm like, oh boy, this is the guy from 15 years ago who wasn't worth it to come to my restaurant because I didn't buy enough or buy from him to begin with and didn't want to put the effort in to do business with me. So he sends me a message and calls me, and I realized who it was when I spoke to him on the phone. I was like, this is the guy from 15 years ago. So I was like, listen, this is the wine I need. I didn't say anything else, but then I sent him a message afterwards and said, I'm not sure if we're fit to do business. I'm not sure if it's worth it for us to do business. I know we've had our differences in the past, and I acknowledge that. And I said, I'm going to leave the ball in your court on how you want to handle this. Because I honestly think that if it's handled right, that this relationship can be repaired, can be totally repaired, and can come in and do a great job for us and admit, the downfall, because he admitted to somebody else that he was wrong. So it's going to be an interesting situation this next week because I really want this wine, but I don't know if I want the salesperson. So the salesperson covers 4 or 5 counties here in New York. So it's not like I can just get another salesperson. It's not like there's another salesperson, that he covers like from Orange County to Albany. That's his territory. So I'm in the territory. There's a rep in Rockland County, Rockland, Westchester. Then there's going to be rep in the city, rep along. So it's not like the company has 20 reps. They have, a handful of reps. So it's not like I can get another rep. But I really want this wine, and it's important that I have this wine. So I sent an email and said, the ball's in your court. The ball's in your court. How do you want to proceed? So I'm mixed on if I want to do business with this person or not. I'm totally mixed if I want this person as my salesperson. I guess I could call the company and say I want to be a house accountant, no salesperson. I want one wine, and that's it. There's a lot of other wines in the portfolio that would fit our realm of traveling in Italy, small family-run vineyards. So that's my dilemma. So what is your thoughts, everybody? Just drop a comment. Should I give this salesperson a second chance, or should I be like, no, move on? He ruined his chance 15 years ago. I'm not going to say how I feel, but I put the ball in his court and said, it's up to you now. I acknowledged what was wrong and this and that, and said, I'm uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable. I don't know if this is a good business fit. I'm not sure if it's worth it. His exact words 15 years ago, it wasn't worth it for him to come to me. This is the thing that you try to teach staff, and we teach our kids, you don't know what bridges you're going to burn. You have no idea what bridges you're going to burn for later. And it's like with staff. They'll quit, they'll walk out this and that, all of a sudden 6 months later, they're either trying to get a referral from us, or 5 years later, 3 years later, they're trying to get their job back. And it's like, wow, you just burned a bridge. Like, you don't really know what you do in these kind of situations. So, did he burn a bridge? Did this salesperson burn a bridge? Just drop some comments. Should I give this guy a second chance? Should I wait for him to respond to me? What should I do? Does this person deserve a second chance? I'm going to get the wine anyway. Somehow, however, with or without him being my salesperson, I will get the wine. So, good morning, everybody tuning in. Esteban, Linda, hi, Mary, Jennifer, Melissa, Chris, Debbie, Jordan's on, Chris, let's see, Tom, I'm still here. Did I lose anybody? Costanza's on. Hi, Costanza, from Italy, from Verona. Costanza is a friend of ours who represents some amazing wineries. She brokers some wineries in the Verona area, and Bordeaux, or Burgundy, and I think Champagne too. But she's turned us on to some amazing, amazing wineries like Corte St. Alda, to Marinella up in the mountains there in Valpolicella, Pra Suave. She's turned us on to and taken us to these vineyards personally. So she's part of our trip to when we go to the Verona side. She joined us last time for for lunch and a couple of vineyards. She joined us at the Tenuta Santa Maria estate. So hi Costanza, hope everything's well there in Italy. We hope to get back very soon. We're supposed to be in Apulia in April. Fingers crossed. I'm very, very, very optimistic because I have to be, but there are backup dates. And if it's not safe to go, of course, we're not going to go, but I just, as a business person, I have to be optimistic. But we are doing trips to the Finger Lakes now. Jamie and I were in the Finger Lakes all last week. We met with vineyard owners. The problem, they don't do tours. The Finger Lakes is not accepting buses. They're not accepting tour groups in right now in most wineries, especially the wineries we want to go because they're smaller wineries. However, we were there. We were at the wineries. I met with a lot of owners, and I said, this is what I want to do. So they're like, oh, Marcus, perfect. You bring 12 people. We'll put you in the barrel room. So your group won't be with another group, with people upstairs on the main floor. We'll put you in your own private room. We have this kind of room for you. We can go into the barrel room. We can taste in the barrel room. We can do barrel sampling. And I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly something that is not a run-of-the-mill tour, which is what our tours in Italy are. They're not run-of-the-mill stuff. This is all stuff where we know the vineyards, we have relationships, they go above and beyond for us. If you joined us in Italy our first year, I cooked it at one of the wineries at Tenuta Santa Maria in Negrar. I actually cooked dinner there. So the Finger Lakes, we can set up similar things where we can do behind-the-scene tours. I can cook at a vineyard. We can do some really cool stuff. We can get one of the vineyard owners back to the hotel that we're staying at to do a wine tasting with us for the reception. We can do some really cool things in the Finger Lakes as of all of our relationships. So we were going to put out a weekend. It's going to be after Martin Luther King weekend. Now, I don't know the price yet because I got to get all the prices this week. I got to just, everything on a spreadsheet, figure it out, and put a price tag on it. We already have people calling us and saying, I want to go. I don't care what the price is. I want to go. So I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be 2 weekends to choose from. You choose weekend A or weekend B. And then the snow dates will be weekend C and weekend D. So that's how it'll work out. You'll pick your weekend and then you'll pick your snow date weekend for the trip. We'll be staying in Watkins Glens at the Harbor House, which is that beautiful, beautiful 4-star hotel on the waterfront, right on the waterfront. It is beautiful. It's an amazing property. Jamie and I stayed there. We met the general manager. We met the sales manager. They ushered us around and are willing to bend over backwards for us and really, because of the snow time in winter and the possibility of doing that to really work with us on postponing, canceling, moving, in case of snow. So that was the most important thing was I don't want us to be locked in if it snows, that we have to get to the Finger Lakes. So we'll be able to have some kind of great cancellation policy. And I met with the general manager personally, with Scott, and I said, this is my concern coming here. And he goes, we will totally work with you, Marcus. No problem whatsoever. So they're willing to go above and beyond. So that's great. So that trip will be up by next weekend. A week from now, we'll have a price tag put on that. You meet us in Watkins Glens. You drive us. You drive there. Friday night reception. Dinner reception, wine tasting, and then Saturday and Sunday we hit the wineries all around Seneca Lake. Some of my favorite wineries, our favorite wines that we have here at the restaurants. There's some really, really cool, amazing stuff going on in the Finger Lakes. The scenery has changed up there that it has in the last 30, 40 years, 30 years, even 15 years, even the last decade. Things have changed. And we have wine reps that come in all the time that are like, the Finger Lakes are so impressive now. Like it's not what it used to be 20 years ago. Not at all. They're planting new varietals. They're getting rid of a lot of the native stock, like the Catawba, the Niagara. They're not making those sweet wines anymore. They're not making the lower quality stuff. And the biggest reason is the Finger Lakes are only, within a close proximity of other major cities like New York City, Philadelphia. A lot of people are going to the Finger Lakes. A lot of good wine drinkers are going there, sophisticated wine drinkers. So they're only catering to the palate of the people that are coming there. So people, more than ever, people know about wine. And so the wineries have upped their game. The new winemakers coming in, up and coming winemakers that are coming in there are fantastic. And they're getting very, very tech savvy, wild fermentation. I mean, it goes on and on with what they're doing. They're making orange wines up there now. The rosés are amazing quality. The Cap Franc rosés, the Pinot Noir rosés coming from up there are amazing. I've tasted some of the best Pinot Noirs that I've tasted recently have been coming from the Finger Lakes. So in the last couple of years, really, really high quality. Some of the Bordeaux style blends, fantastic. So we're going to take you around to all of our favorite vineyards, and we have tons of vineyards we know up there. So we have to limit it to, three or four, five, six, whatever we have to limit to. We could literally do, 4 weekends in a row up there and hit all the vineyards that we like and would buy from and do buy from. So then there are wineries. There are wineries that we visited again that we just don't want to buy their wine. We just don't feel the quality is there. We feel that they're more of a production house, that they're not geared to what we're looking for. Not making them bad wineries or bad wine. It's just geared a little differently to what our palate is and what we want to serve here at the restaurant, and maybe the quantity or quality we just don't feel is there. For us, it might be there for other people, and of course they wouldn't be successful or sell that much wine if people weren't drinking their wine. It's just different styles. The Finger Lakes, it is a cold climate region, so there are grapes that do very well there, like Cabernet Franc. Chardonnay does good up there, Pinot Noir. Limburger is another one that does very, very good up there. Certain grapes just don't get as ripe as they need to, like Cabernet Sauvignon, but I got to tell you, there's a couple wineries over there that make a really decent Cabernet for New York, So we're going to show you all that kind of good stuff. So again, folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you heard my story in the beginning about if I should give that sales rep a second chance, just let me know. Drop a comment, yes or no. You never know. You never know the bridge you're burning, right? You never know the bridge you're burning. And Jamie and I are based on relationships. We buy things based upon relationships with the sales reps, with the vineyard. We've bought some amazing wine from Italy and Spain, especially, where the wines are rated so highly and just amazing. We sell a great amount of them, and we get to the winery and we're like, oh boy, this wasn't really what we expected, and we stopped buying their wine. There's several vineyards that we have gotten rid of off our wine list because we just don't feel that the culture, the quality is there, but just the culture of the whole atmosphere and the size of it, the people that are there, the people that are working there, just doesn't fit what we do. So we've gotten rid of wines because of that. And it's like that with food too. We buy from people that we like. We buy from, that's one of the psychological biases of selling or buying is, we buy from people that we like, that we have a relationship with, that are likable. So if you go onto our website, that's one of the key points is we're on the website, Jamie and I. We're on a lot of the pages. You go to the homepage, we're on the website, her and I, so you can recognize who we are, and hopefully you can like us before you even meet us. So that's just part of marketing. That's what they teach in marketing. That's what Jamie and I teach to a lot of all of our clients. And in the books I've written is about being likable and getting on Facebook, doing Facebook Lives, things like that. Jamie doing her Facebook Lives. It's just a way for you to connect with us and hopefully know that we're authentic and be able to relate to us. And people come in here all the time that have met us before, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you. I've been watching you for so long on Facebook. I caught your video. And I feel like I know you. So that's great. Jamie and I love to hear that. And her Facebook Lives, her happy hour live has really taken off, and people love it. People wait for it. And this week she couldn't get to as many as she wanted to. I think she only did one this week. But 4 o'clock, a couple days a week, she'll get on there and make a cocktail. So, all right, that's it, folks. I got a bunch of work to do today, and that's it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Drop comments again. Do I give the salesperson a second chance or not? He told me 15 years ago that he wasn't worth it from there to drive a half an hour to come to my restaurant because he wasn't making money. It was in January, February, and I wasn't buying anything anyway. But come March, when I'm ready to start buying things, that's what he tells me. Now he's with the company that I want one of their wines. He's assigned to my account with a new company. That he just started working with this company too. Just started working with this company a month ago. So imagine if you're the sales manager to get an email. I didn't send an email or anything to the sales manager, but imagine if he did this to other people, or if he did get an email from me to his sales manager saying, hey, I can't work with this guy. Imagine the sales manager be like, who in the world did I hire? Like, I hired somebody who has a bad reputation in the market. Like, you have no idea. So I messaged him. Don't know if it's worth it for you to work with us. Ball's in your court. Let's see what happens. I think he can totally make it up. Come in here and acknowledge what happened, because he acknowledged it to a friend already that he screwed up, and the friend was like, yeah, it's a crappy thing to say to you. You're not worth coming up to visit you, because he could have been selling wine to us, every company he's been with for the last 15 years. We buy a lot of wine, especially right now. We buy a lot of wine, so It's hard to put a price tag on things when you're building a relationship. You're building a relationship for down the road. If I put a price tag on everybody who walked into the restaurant based upon your first transaction here, that'd be the stupidest thing I could ever do. Like, I know this is a repetition game. I know the more times that I can get you guys here, the better off I am. It's a repetition game. It's easier to market to you or remarket to you the second, third, fourth, fifth time than it is for the first time. It's 6 times easier to get you back a second visit than get you in the door the first time. So it's all a matter of fact of just building the relationship and putting into it in the beginning and all throughout the whole thing. But it's so important. You can't judge. If you're a business owner, it's hard to judge unless you're very, very specific businesses. But in the restaurant business, you can't judge by your first transaction what the lifetime value of a guest is. Lifetime value is one of the metrics that if businesses understood that, they take more care of the guests that are in their seats in front of them, their potential guests, because the lifetime value is really what is a determining number. And so yeah. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in, and have an amazing Sunday weekend, and we'll talk to you later.